one of the greatest men I know. One of the greatest men I've ever encountered. A huge inspiration in my life and into my manhood, who I am today. The Sealz, the man you know today, was my pop-pop, also known as my grandfather. I love that man. He did anything I would ask for. He loved me like his son. But there was an interesting dynamic with his relationship with my grandmother. As y'all know, if y'all watch my videos, my grandmother is a God-fearing woman, a Christian woman who's been in church forever. And my grandfather, not so much. I don't know how my grandma and my pop-up got together, but they did. And I'm happy they did because I'm here. But there was always something interesting about the dynamic of their relationship in my head, because I realized they were living two different lifestyles, but they were somehow together, created a family together, created a legacy together. Because of this contrast between their lifestyles, I've witnessed a lot of bad arguments with them. And the reasons for the arguments just didn't make sense to me. Some of them were pointless or could have been easily avoided. But that is what happens when you're living two different lifestyles with two different mindsets. Sometimes the abrasion and the confrontation and the resistance is more frequent than peaceful times with each other, because y'all are thinking too differently, two different thinkings. So it sucks sometimes, because when you are a God-fearing woman, when you are a Christian, you place all your faith in God, in Jesus, in something that is greater than you, right? Therefore, you don't have to worry about the things of the world. My grandfather worried all the time. He worried about money. He worried about the house we had. He worried so much because he didn't have something to lay his stress on. He didn't have that help. He didn't have that foundation, that faith. So his worries were 100% on him. Imagine carrying that. There's people carrying that type of weight every single day. And I honestly feel sorry for them. But that's what my grandfather went through. And that stress carried on into the relationship he had with my grandmother, which started a lot of these arguments. It's hard having a faith in something that is infinite and being in a relationship with someone who is dependent on themselves, on their own labor, on their own abilities. That gotta be difficult, right? Just think about that. Someone thinking the impossible and thinking and depending on the infinite versus someone who is dependent on something that is limited. That's tough. And as you see, the title of this video is to be wary, be careful, and stay away from people, specifically men, who do not believe in anything. Now, I'm not saying all people who don't believe in anything are bad people. I'm not saying that, because we've all had our moments of disbelief or unbelief. But you have to be careful with being in a relationship with someone, even being friends with someone who does not believe in anything. And this is why. Because of my belief, because of my faith, I believe in something that, like I said in the earlier video, that is something that is infinite, that never runs out, something that is bigger than me, something that can help me forever, something that has helped me get out of situations that man couldn't solve. I was a very sick child, very sick baby. Doctors didn't know what to do, but somehow I got out of those situations because of my praying family, because of my church, because they poured that energy into me, into my life. The unexplainable became a reality for me. If you know, you know. But a person who does not believe in anything puts all their trust in themselves, puts all their trust in man's ability, what they can do with their hands. But just think about this. We, men and women, are frail. We get sick all the time. We catch moods and attitudes. We're not inspired all the time. We break bones. We tear flesh. We become each other's enemies so easily from gossip or whatever the reason. They're frail reasons. We can be so weak. So imagine placing all your trust in your belief in something like that, something like us, and that thing breaks down or that thing dies. What do you have? If you place all your trust and your belief in your relationship because you don't believe in anything, what will you do when that relationship hits rock bottom? Or something happens where it shakes the foundation of your union or your marriage or your relationship? What do you do because you don't believe in anything outside of yourself? Imagine being in a relationship where you don't believe in anything, so you put all your trust in your man, all your belief and your faith in your man, and he suddenly dies. Or he breaks up with you, or he divorces you. Now you have nothing because you put your all into something that is temporary, that is wish-washy, that is weak, that can be influenced by outside factors or things that make them feel good. What do you do? I will say this, and I will always say this. Stay away from people who do not believe in anything, because if they place all their belief in man, they will lose everything. as a lover of Jesus Christ, I have no worries. I bear no cost. I leave it up to him. I don't worry about the things that the normal person would worry about. Money and the jobs and my apartment. Because all those things can reject me. I truly do not have control over those things. My apartment, my house can burn down. My job can fire me at any moment they please. My bank account, the world bank account, can get hacked today and I have no money, not a penny to my name. Those things are possible. So I place all your trust in those type of things that are frail, temporary, and unpredictable. Now, I'm not trying to force you to do anything outside of your comfort, but I'm trying to make you aware of why a lot of these relationships fail and why a lot of these relationships do not pan out. Because they put all their trust and belief in themselves, in something that is temporary, something that can die, something that can break down, something that can break. Now, I know a lot of non-believers. I know a lot of people who don't believe in anything, not even just a religious thing. I know a lot of people who don't even believe in their own mother. But it's funny what happens when someone who doesn't believe in anything hits rock bottom. When something in their life brings them to the very depths of their limits. Something catastrophic, tragic. Those are the first people to say, "Oh my God." Well, you say you don't believe in God. Why are you screaming, "Oh my God" now? That's just hilarious to me. I just had to say that. Those same people who claim they don't believe in anything, when they get something, AIDS or cancer or something that is out of their control, they will do whatever it takes, even going outside of what they believe in, to find solution for their problem. I honestly believe that every single person on this earth has an innate belief in them. The difference is a lot of people choose not to utilize that belief in them. That's just my opinion, because I believe our source is the definition of belief. So if we come from something that is defined on belief, how can you not be of belief, right? So I don't mean to hold y'all too long, but that's just my thinking, right? So at the end of the day, this is what I'm trying to tell you. I'm not saying you should never get into a relationship with someone who does not believe, because your lights can actually or maybe help them or save their life. You never know. Like, I honestly feel like my grandmother saved my grandfather's life because she was in his life. In a weird way, that's what I feel. Because my grandfather was wilding back in the day. I heard the stories, but I truly feel like he lived this long because of my grandmother's presence in his life. So just based on that example, right, my grandparents, I'm not telling you to not or stay away from people who don't believe anything, but I'm telling you to be wary. Do not go with something that is against your grain. Something that is against your morals, something that makes you uncomfortable, especially if you believe and they don't. Be careful. All right, so you guys, Sealz the Man back at you in another video. Thank you for being here, and I will see you on my next video. Peace and blessings. Goodbye.